Hey everyone, so on this episode of Make It with Calvin, not necessarily a review, not necessarily an opinion piece, just more of a what in the heck were they thinking? So let's talk about it. Alright, sorry if you can hear the X2 running a little bit in the background. It's pulling off a test sprint for me right now for an upcoming video. But I figured now was as good a time as any to talk about one of those cases of you have the potential for a really good product and then you do something that really makes it take a nosedive. And I hate doing videos like this because at its core, this is a great product. It's the EBOS, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, filament dryer, and I actually have to thank Maker Potato, who's actually a very intelligent potato to know how to use Twitter, over on Twitter, who had been trying out a bunch of filament dryers, and recently I've done a bunch of glass-filled nylon prints, more on that in an upcoming video, for both Danielle and my dad, and potentially some stuff for myself here in the near future. And I obviously have the food dehydrator, it works great, but the problem is I can't actively feed filament from it into the printer, and given the humidity out where I'm at, plus the fact that nylon just drinks up moisture, you get the picture. It's not very practical. So I was able to pick this up on sale for what I would consider a reasonable price. It's nice. It has a little humidity sensor down here. Very basic dial that just says, you know, you got your PLA range, your TPU, ABS, PETG, polycarbonate, and nylon, so you don't really know the temperature, but when I used it with nylon, cranked it up to the max and it worked great. It has an air input over here. You've got 2 ports that you can run the filament out of with the included tubing, which is awesome. Just uses a basic plug, doesn't draw a ton of power, but here's where the problem lies. What makes no sense to me is it literally uses this pull string, and I am pulling very hard. Like, I literally have my weight leaning against this, and I'm pulling that out, and then it comes flying out. Like, seriously, guys? That is what you came up with for a door mechanism? And like I said, I don't want to seem overly critical in the video, but it's like, why? The weird thing as well is the fact that it looks almost like they were going to do something with a knob and 4 latches, or 2 latches or something, because you've got the provisions for a latch here in the injection molding. You have the latch here, and in a way you could say that there were provisions made for latches on the other sides, but this weird pull string mechanism, and then as Maker Potato pointed out, there's this seal along the edge, like a groove for a seal, that has absolutely nothing in it. And then, you know, you can take a look at the inside. It's nice. I personally wish that, you know, if they didn't have to put electronics in there, that those areas were open so I could stuff them full of, you know, desiccant and all that stuff. But the point is, here you have what is actually a very good filament dryer, and according to what he said, a lot of the other ones actually had problems with the filament feeding out when it was in action, which in my opinion completely negates the point of the whole thing. You know, here we have a very good thing, and we come up with the world's jankiest door mechanism alive, and it's no better when you go to put it back on. It's like, okay, let me pull down on it and then like squeeze and crush the dumb thing back in there. I know I'm being a little critical on this, but it really kills me to have something that's really a nice product, and yet they do that with the door. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this, because I do feel a little bit bad sending it back, as it is a completely functional product and it works great, but the door just, it wigs me out. I'm legitimately scared that one of these days I'm going to break something on this, and then it's going to be pretty much, you know, broken, and I have to try and fix it. So I will figure out what I'm going to do in the long run. I will say though, other than the door, this thing is great, but I don't know. I'm not trying to put words in the company's mouths, but I can also speak from this on personal experience. It feels a little bit like, you know, they kind of entered, you know, the the final countdown until the end, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the competition will release something, we'll just drop a 7/8 of the way there thing and hope nobody notices the fact that it's got a couple of loose ends and a funky door latch that's really frustrating and things like that. So sound off with your comments below if you've used this, you know, or you have opinions on it based on the video. I'd love to hear it. As for the product, it works. I can't badmouth it in that department. It really helped dry out my nylon. But there's just things like the door that just go, really, guys? Really? I know somebody's going to say, well, Calvin, what would your solution have been? Well, you got a lot of room in the corners. You just done thumb screws or something like that, and, you know, maybe used like some light magnets to help hold it in place until then. Heck, you could even probably use magnets. This isn't going to get hot enough that you're going to negate the magnetic stickiness, for lack of a better term, of the magnets in there. But yeah, it sucks. So let me know what you guys think about this. Sorry, it's a little bit rambling. It's just one of those things where it's like, the more I used it, the more I'm just like, really? Why did you do that? All right, see you guys here next time on Make It with Calvin.